of the hundreds of cases filed against you, have you been acquitted in some of the cases?
Many. Like in the initial stage, we were able to prove around 7 and 9 cases na talagang hindi nabakunahan ang bata. And even the school testified na hindi sila nabakunahan. That's why we were wondering, the autopsy report is exactly the same. Parang paano ka nagkaroon ng exactly the same autopsy report verbatim from a patient who was vaccinated and a patient who was not vaccinated? And of course, ang nangyari kasi dito, file na lang yung prosecutors ng DOJ without even informing us and without even allowing us to respond.
Under this present dispensation, no cases were already filed. It all happened during the Duterte administration.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Well, nung nagkaroon na nga ng order ang DOJ to withdraw the cases, kasi pagdating sa court, nag-grant din ang demurrer first fake documents because we were able to produce the documents, the real cause of death from the hospitals.
You know, Ren, I'll tell you this, no? This situation of the Dengvaxia, it was a World Health statement that prompted the gulo here, no? All the other countries took it well, but the Philippines really just hyped it up. No? That's why.
Actually, it's not the World Health Organization.
Are you saying that this is politically motivated?
Definitely, because when the cases
and there's no basis. The case has no basis.
No basis. First, the people who came out as experts, we're not reporting in court except for I think Tony Leachon. But the court decided that he's not an expert and everything that he was saying was based on news and hearsay.
Talaga?
Yes, I can give you a copy. That's why the demurrer was granted.
Sige, Janet, we'll just at least it's good to know, no? Because I was very concerned with Janet because it was really for us, it was really a step forward in making sure that our children are protected in their.
Ang mahirap kasi doon, Dengvaxia ang sinasabi, pero yung mga tumatawid sa amin, pinipilit kaming pumirma ng affidavit which was actually demonizing former President Noynoy Aquino. So sabi ko, ano ba ito? I thought we're talking about science, but it's actually political.
Let's talk about the present situation right now. Because, you know, Janet, you're one of the vigorous defenders of Martin Romualdez so I just want to know what's your take on the whole November 30 rally?
Well, just to set things straight, it's not that I'm defending the former speaker. It's actually defending the institution. No, kasi ang daming you know, if people would lose confidence in the government, we will have chaos. We do not tolerate the wrongdoings, but we put forward real facts that's happening inside. No, although admittedly in the budget deliberations that happened, there were a lot of situations na medyo na blind nga. No, but then ayan na yan, iniimbestiga na yan, managot ang dapat managot. Accountability should be there. However, it should not be used as a political tool to bring down the government. Kasi what I see in people, lalo na sa probinsya, and tama nga si...
You do consultations with your constituents?
Yes, and
on
we do
the flood control?
On all issues.
So ano ang pakiwari ng mga Ilonggo?
Sa Iloilo
what are
kasi,
their sentiments about what's happening with the flood control issues?
People are really angry about corruption. Nagugulat yung tao at hindi makapaniwala that there are ghost projects. Substandard projects is something that is not acceptable to the Ilonggos. But doon kasi, especially in southern Iloilo, my district, ang tao nakikita nila yung project. And they are saying that flood control projects are helping them. No? Pero ando doon kasi yung punto, I think medyo na-saturate na rin, napagod na ang tao, na palaging naririnig nila problema.
And corruption.
Yes, they're now starting to think like, okay, tama naman yan, managot yung dapat managot. Pero paano naman kami? And referring to their hanap buhay. No, the BIR decision is actually laudable. Ando dun din yung nagmamahal lahat, no? So when we have a lot of controversies, when we drive away tourism, when we drive away investors, yung impact nun sa tao, sa baba, malaki.
Pero ang malaking impact nitong flood control scam is, you mentioned a while ago, the erosion of trust in government. And there's a huge also erosion of trust in the house where you're a member
I was about to ask that.
Because that's
no?
really...
it's really destroying the institution as far as, of course, the perception is concerned. No? And you're part of that. You've been part of the house, no? Even your siblings or the family. No?
And that is precisely the reason why I go down to the grassroots. Alam mo yung kaya nga, we understand the anger of the people. Pati marami rin no, sa kasamahan yung nagulat. Ito pala yung nangyayari. And then when we talk about unprogrammed funds, many of us are not aware of that because while we were both in the cabinet, we know merong unprogrammed funds, pero maliit lang yan eh. Hindi
maliit lang talaga yun eh. Oo.
Oo. So,
pero,
that's why when you go down talk to the people, bring services, and be part of the solution to their problems. It's bringing a different face to Congress.
But I worked with Congress for a while when during my dad's time, no. Do you really believe that say Speaker Romualdez doesn't really have any knowledge of what's going on in the bicameral?
You know, it's for him to answer in the proper court. I believe the investigation has been conducted. No, mas magandang sila ang magsalita tungkol dyan because it's very difficult for me to prejudge somebody when I am not really privy to everything that is.
But going back to the destruction of the perception about the institution.
Yes, I want to ask you that. Does the House leadership recognize that there is a problem? There's an image problem.
Yeah.
Amongst in the House of Representatives.
Yes, and you can as you can
what are
see,
you doing about
nagkakaroon.
it?
Well, Congress has been silently working, but with a unified direction.
How
And that
silent
is-
are you working? Because you need
It's
to be
too silent.
You need to be vocal about it.
No.
This
I
is
mean,
not the time to be silent.
It's not literally silent. Hindi siya na literally silent, but if you can, hindi kasi na-announce. Pero
I think you should. No, this is the
like
time.
what? Okay.
changes with the leadership
Like
position.
yung SALN, marami pa rin hindi.
Ano ang mga ginagawa
hindi bigay ng
ninyo
SALN.
na
Okay.
sinasabi niyong silent but
Ang qualifiers ng mga nakakapasok sa pertinent committees. Yes. In fact, when the 20th Congress
By criteria,
convened,
you're saying there's
yes.
a criteria already?
When the
In the past,
20th
there's none. Just
There
politically
is,
appointed.
No, there is, because it's by party allocation. Meron
Okay.
naman talagang criteria. But during the 20th Congress, even if you're recommended by your political party or your political group, there's a vetting.
who vets?
Of course, the leadership, especially na dahil alam, no, naririnig na kung baka ito may probable involvement, baka ito wala, ito may probable. Those who are, okay, sabihin na natin pagka malakas ang bulong, hindi na papasok sa leadership
Tsaka anong
position.
criteria? I'm curious as
Ayun
to
na
the
yung isang criteria.
Yan,
Yung involvement with the past.
malakas ang bulong or information
corruption
na
issues.
involvement doon sa
I just wanted to ask, ilan ang porsyento ng mga maraming out of the total number of representatives?
Ang
Marami
wala.
ba dyan? O
Kasi
ang wala?
ang
pala
walang
actually?
issue.
ang daming okay, it's not a perfect institution, pero yung mga nangyari is something like I've been a member of several congresses. I think this is my
During the time of President Gloria Arroyo, you were
Yes.
there, yeah.
And President Aquino. And then bumalik nga ako. Well, I was supposed to retire, but with the Dengvaxia issue, I believe, and I was hearing the clamor of my co-public health workers and doctors that I had to come back kasi nawawala ang boses ng mga scientists in a political environment. Kung titingnan mo kasi, the situation that happened is something, okay, balikan natin. Ang nangyari kasi during the previous administration, nawala yung master plan, nagkaroon ng mga bagay-bagay na dapat nga hindi nangyayari. Parang naging commodity, no? Merong mga nagnegosyo ng sobrang-sobra na yung ninenegosyo nila, hindi naman nila produkto.
Was this before or after the pandemic? Does it
I
nothing to
believe-
do with the pandemic? Kasi
No, the master
believe
plan was
the
given.
abuse
The master plan was
during the
given.
Aquino
Was provided by Babe
administration.
Singson. Left with the
Duterte
during the Duterte
administration.
administration, and they were claiming it was never. I just spoke to Babe Singson last Friday, and he was very adamant in stating we left a master plan, and they never followed the master plan.
Yeah, I can confirm that because I was with Secretary Babes during the last few months of our tenures, members of the cabinet of
So
the Pinoy
let's go back to
administration.
how will the House correct its image right now, which is pretty down in the cellar?
If you can see the process where when the budget was deliberated on, it was more transparent than before. The areas where the possibilities of these things that happened, yun ay binago na, no? Like the small committee is not there anymore.
Wala nang small committee.
Wala na.
How about in terms of the BICAM, are they live streaming it?
Based on what I am hearing, maybe it's best for us to wait and see. Pero sa naririnig ko, it will also be a transparent BICAM. Now,
Yeah, because
moving
they
forward,
announced that.
marami kasi talaga ang hindi na nailalagay, no? Pagpalit ng mga mukha, no? Ng mga nasa the problem is when you defend an institution, you will be misconstrued as defending a person. But then we are defending the institution as a whole because a few rotten eggs does not mean that Congress is really rotten. And I mean, if you go back, ilan dyan yung may gusto sa mga ganitong posisyon, pero bakit hindi na ilagay?
Yeah, sorry, but just very quickly, no? Still on the image of the Congress and the institution, no? Do you think that Speaker D is a good choice, given that he is also part of the, political dynasty, as you say? Because I think na parang 6 to 8 of members of the family are also in government.
Speaker
has
Boji
government
D
position.
was elected by majority of Congress, no? Walang ibang tumakbo. It simply means that his demeanor, his attitude is something that Congress needs as of the moment.
But that does not bother you, that it can also give an image, a perception that really Congress does not give value to the clamor of the people about the political dynasty, against political dynasty.
I'll put it this way, no? There's a lot of clamor about political dynasty. Narinig naman natin mismo sa kanya nung pagbukas nito after the long break that it is one of his priority measures. And that is enough proof that he is pushing for it.
Where is it now?
I believe they are now having a consolidated version kasi medyo marami ang nag-file.
And you think
That's why
aabot
if-
pa to, Congresswoman,
That is
before
why,
end of the term?
if we need to pass this bill, dapat wala ng mga impossible provisions. Just like the universal healthcare law, former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo was fighting for that. Pinoy was pushing for that heavily, kaya nga nagkaroon ng syntax and everything. But when it came to the final crafting of the law, there were two killer provisions inserted. One is that all medicines, vaccines, and commodities should have to pass through stage 4. That's a killer amendment. Sa buong mundo, walang nagre-require niyan because phase 4 is actually post-marketing surveillance.
Pero
Gamitin mo muna yung produkto.
That is a political
Yung bill na
dynasty.
ng political dynasty,
What is
may
the
killer
killer?
provisions?
Yeah, what is the killer
No.
provision?
What I mean is that in the
What could
definition of terms and then in the parameters, it's something that they have to agree with. No, I really haven't gone into the details.
Term of office, you're saying?
Well, wala
Let's say
pa yata,
example.
no? So, wala pa.
Kino-consolidate.
So, okay,
Will it apply
we will
to
wait.
up to the barangay officials?
Sige.
Kasi minsan hindi mo...
By the way, sa barangay, meron na si Barry Gutierrez nag-introduce, meron ng anti-political dynasty on the barangay level.
So does it